behaviour. So thanks for your time for joining us on this briefing session on the Nordic Propel Bootcamp. My name is Tim East. I'm the Propel Accelerator and International Lead. So I basically coordinate this programme, which we're pleased to run for its second iteration. So yeah, the purpose of this session is really to give you all the information you're going to need on the bootcamp. So Propel is our flagship accelerator program. So that's what Propel is, Propel at YH. The Yorkshire number AHSN. So you'll soon realise that not only the NHS, but our organisation is full of acronyms. So that's the Academic Health Science Network. That's the organisation that I work for. And we're really pleased to be working with the colleagues your side to deliver this through their various organisations. And did you want to say some words, Nana?
Yeah, definitely. Hi, everyone. My name is Nana Mortensen, and I work for Danish Life Science Cluster. And on behalf of the Nordic partners in the program, I would like to welcome you to this introduction webinar for the Propel Bootcamp. And I'm very happy to be working on this together with Norwegian Smart Care Cluster, Svecare, and Business Region Gothenburg. So we are the Nordic consortium behind the program. And the only reason that we are able to offer this program is due to funding and support from Nordic Innovation. And they're not only funding our work, but also funding part of the cost of the company's participation in LEADS. So we couldn't do it without Nordic Innovation. And all the Nordic partners were in LEADS in January to participate in the first round of the bootcamp. So we can say with confidence that this program really brings a lot of value to the participating companies. And for that reason, we are, of course, really exciting to be able to offer a second round of the bootcamp to another group of companies going to LEADS. And the last thing I want to mention is just that besides the activities that Tim's will be going through today, the Nordic partners will also be offering some extra activities in the months up to the bootcamp. For example, a pitch training session that we are going to plan for you. So a lot of great activities running up to the bootcamp as well. So yeah, take it from here, Tim.
That's great. Thanks, Nana. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of content to cover. As I say, I'm going to record the session so you'll be able to view it again if needed. If we leave questions to the end, so if you've got any questions, just save them up for the end and we've got a section at the end. But hopefully this will fill all the gaps and give you all the information you're going to need to make that decision on attending the bootcamp. Okay, so this is our team from our side. So there's myself that leads on the program, and I'll be there for the week on the bootcamp. On the right-hand side, we've got Ferdy, who's the digital navigator who supports the program and will provide some content. We've got Diane, who is seconded into our programs from Bayer, the pharmaceutical company, with a lot of experience in terms of delivering technology into the NHS. So Diane provides a couple of the sessions. Amy is a project manager, so she makes sure that everything is working and everyone's in the right place. And then we've got Richard, who's the project coordinator, who'll be in touch and again supporting Amy to ensure everyone is where they need to be. Our organisation is a not-for-profit organisation, and we are, think of us as a sort of an arm's length body of the NHS. So we're a division of the NHS, and our key work is to support innovation into the National Health Service. So we work closely with innovators like yourself to support you on your journey into the NHS. We work with the NHS system to understand what the ask is, what the need is, what the unmet need is. And we also work with academia to show the value of technology. So the investment that the NHS makes in technology is worthwhile. So we work across those sort of three key verticals. And also we work closely, networking is a key aspect of our work. So we work closely with government organisations, local organisations, and you'll see the breadth of those organisations we work with through our partners. This is just a screen grab from our website. So if you need further information, there's information on there. There's blogs, there's news updates, etc. So we're one of 15 across England, and we are regional based. So our region is Yorkshire and Humber. And then we have 14 other academic health science networks, which are scattered across England. So not only do we work at a local level and support innovation, we also work at a national level. And where technology is working in other regions, we will adopt that or work with our academic health science networks to bring that to our region. So yes, we are local based, but also we have a national reach and we work closely with those partners. In terms of our region, so our region is one of the largest regions in the UK. It has over 5 million citizens within the region. We have a number of key cities, including Leeds, Sheffield, Hull, York. There's a lot of investment in terms of investment into health and social care, so 12 billion. We have 22 what are called acute trusts or hospitals within our region, and one of the biggest ones in Europe is on our doorstep. And we have 6 teaching hospitals, and these are hospitals where they actually support incoming clinicians, consultants, and train them up as well. We have 5 mental health trusts. So these are trusts that are focused on supporting patients with mental health needs. And we have things called clinical commissioning groups. So these are a smaller region which works together for the benefits of the patient. GP practices are the first point of call for a citizen. So if they have a symptom or they're on a long-term condition, they will go to their local GP practice, and we have over 700 GP practices within our region. What the NHS has done is split up the regions into what are called integrated care systems. So these are larger regions, and the aim of them is to get the NHS to work together. Up to then, organisations did work in silos, and they see the benefits of working collaboratively as a way forward. And we've got 3 integrated care systems within our region. We have just short of 1,500 care homes. So these are homes for the elderly, and we have a high number of those. We have 12 universities, and we have, especially within Leeds, we have a high concentration of life science companies. So there is a hotbed in our region of technology companies that deliver technology into the NHS. What's not on the slide is some of the national organisations which support the NHS, such as NHS England, and a number of others which are London-based but also Leeds-based, which we'll talk about on the programme. So you can see our footprint is a very large footprint. It has a large number of citizens and patients, and it is a hotbed for health technology. And that's why we see tech companies landing in our region, because if you can get your technology working in this region, it's a cross section of the UK. So there's no reason why you can get it working in different areas as well. So in terms of our location, Leeds, it's the 3rd largest city in the UK. It has a high number of citizens within the region, and as I've mentioned, it is a hotbed for health technology companies landing. In terms of the population, just short of 800,000 citizens. It's grown year on year. We have 3 million citizens within the wider population. It's one of the youngest UK cities because it's got 2 universities, and we see a lot of students who study here but actually stay here as well and get jobs. We have a large number of languages spoken, and you can see it is basically in the middle of the country, so it's very accessible. It's only a couple of hours to London, a couple of hours to Edinburgh, and we've got a number of other key cities on our doorstep. In terms of the city region, the economy, we have 69 billion GVA, an investment in our region. We have 1.4 million jobs, and there's a large number of businesses within it. And I think the key thing which is that it's all within a footprint of a few miles of the city centre. So generally speaking, you can walk around the city, and there's a lot of organizations that are within walking distance of each other. And you'll see that first of all from the venue that we host the program, to the hospital that we visit and have a site visit, and the partners who are based in Leeds. It's been one of the main pioneering regions in terms of health and innovation. As I've mentioned, we've got one of the largest hospitals in the region. We've got 2 of the main system suppliers, especially in primary care, on the doorstep, and a whole range of other organisations that are there to support health tech land in the UK. Okay, so I'm going to run into the bootcamp details. So we've been running the boot camps now for 18 months. We've run them, they're based from our main accelerator program, which is a 6-month program of support we provide to UK innovators. And we basically condense that into a week of content. I'd like to think that we're one of the leading organisations in terms of providing the import of technology into the UK. That we're definitely one of the only ones that provide this service to international companies. And we've delivered it already, as Nana mentioned, with a cohort of Nordic innovators, and I'll talk about the progress they've made to date. We've also ran it with some US suppliers, Canadian, and an Indian cohort. And the program gets shaped every time we run it, and we update it based on feedback and any changes within what's happening in the NHS. I think the key benefit from your side is it can be very confusing to enter any market, especially the NHS, which is a complex beast. Has multiple organisations. There's various things that you're going to need to do. And also it's the engagement with the NHS. So how do you engage with it in a positive manner to bring those benefits? So we see the key benefit of the bootcamp is that it will give you clarity on how you can enter the NHS within a week. It'll explain what you need to do, what are the important things you need to do, and give you a timeline of when you need to do them. But also it'll introduce you to organizations who will support you in that journey, who have the expertise, who do this day in, day out. And I'll talk about the partners who will help you with that. And we understand the NHS market is really complicated. I've worked in digital health for probably 17 years now. And it is really difficult, but it's a very rewarding market to work in, especially when you're, making a difference to patients' lives. So what the bootcamp is it's a week of masterclasses, which are facilitated by either ourselves or knowledge experts, partners, or organisations that work with the NHS. We also have a day of networking with the delivery partners and also the NHS and key stakeholders. And we also provide the opportunity for you to pitch. And when we say pitch, it's in a very loose term. You're not pitching for any business. No one will be making a decision on whether or not they're going to purchase your product at that point in time. But they will give you an insight into the things you need to consider. And it's a safe space to give you feedback on those considerations. So we know the last time we ran it, you get a lot of value from it. You know, it's nothing to be concerned about. You know, I'm sure you talk about what you're doing and why you do it, and that's what that pitch is. After the program, we give you a few weeks to sort of digest the content and regroup, and then we have a follow-on support service where we'll reach out to you and find out what your next steps are and support you. So we provide support afterwards as well. All the materials, the content, the venues, excluding accommodation and refreshments, is provided. This is the breadth of our partners who we work with, and I'll touch on a few shortly. So we have our key partners that we work with, and these are experts in their field. And then the ones underneath are supporters who either provide content and content through the masterclasses in the program. As I say, you will meet them, you'll meet their representative, you'll get to know them, and they're there to support you with your journey. So I'll touch on a few of these organizations. So the first one is an organization called Nexus, which is a subsidiary of Leeds University. So this is an actual physical building. It's an incubator building in the centre of Leeds, within sort of 15 minutes walking distance of the city centre. It's so we actually host the masterclasses and the events at this building. And you will meet a chap called Nathan and Barry, and they also provide an additional service to support innovators like yourself to connect into the local ecosystem. They have an offering of support, so you can sign up to Nexus and they can support you. If you want a physical space, they provide virtual desk space, and if you need an office, they provide office space as well. And they have a portfolio of innovators that are actually based there as well, so you get that collaboration. So that's Nexus. The next one is Barclays Eagle Labs. So this is one of our partners that deal with finance and banking. So when you come to the UK, you're going to need some form of banking services, and Barclays provides that facility. So day-to-day banking, access to funding, investments, and wealth management as you progress. So you'll meet Dawn from Barclays, and they'll explain what their offering is and how they can help. The next one's Leeds City Council, which is the governance of the local authority for the Leeds. They have a number of services where they can support you again if you need physical space, building space. And they have an initiative called the Innovation Arc. So they're investing heavily within the region to nurture innovation, including health tech. And that's linked into the local hospital because they're rebuilding 2 new hospitals, state-of-the-art hospitals, within a stone throw of the Nexus building. The Nexus building is part of the Innovation Arc, as well as the universities. So you know, over the next 5 years, landing in Leeds from a health tech suppliers perspective is a really positive thing. There's going to be a lot of investment, and there will be a need for cutting edge technology. So you'll meet Rochelle from Leeds City Council and their innovation team. Hill Dickinson is our partner that is an international law firm that specializes in health tech. So they do a masterclass based on the legal requirements. So they'll go through what do you need to do from a basic point of view, things like employing people, intellectual property rights, clinical safety, medical device assurance, etc. So they've got a small team headed up by Eleanor and specialists who will provide support around the legalities of providing technology into the NHS. Partner Equity is a new partner that we've brought onto the programme. So this is an investment firm that provides investment for innovators. They're currently working in the north of England, and they specialise in health tech. So they support innovators with their long-term investment goals and help with supporting that. So there's some of the key partners that we work with. And then we have supporters who support the programme. So I've mentioned the local hospital. So this is Leeds Teaching Hospital Trust. As I say, it's within walking distance of Nexus. It's one of the largest hospitals in Europe. It does virtually everything apart from, I think, heart transplants. It has 7 sites over the Leeds footprint, and they have their way of adopting innovation is through what's called an innovation pop-up. So that's a route into clinicians, specialists, irrespective of what specialist that is. They're there to collaborate with innovators and get engagement between yourselves, clinicians, patients. They obviously procure technology, and this is one of the main trusts within our patch. There's another 7 within our region as well, but this is the main one that we work with. So you'll meet Richard, Melinda and Bev, who work in the Innovation Pop-Up. York Health Economic Consortium is an organisation that's linked into York University, and they are specialists in looking at health economics, evaluation, reviewing technology, and producing evidence that the technology is worth investment. So a key part of you selling into the NHS will be showing the economic value of your product. So if that's time saving, it's saving money for the NHS, it's radically reforming a clinical pathway. That is a partner where once you've got a project up and running, you'll bring them to the table. You will run an evidence-based project, and hopefully there will be value for that, and that becomes your business case to sell into the NHS. So that's YHEC. There's quite a lot of governance that you'll need to do to sell into the NHS. So you'll have to make sure that your product is safe, it's secure, it's clinically safe. And there's an organisation called ORCA that would support you with that. There's a framework called DTAC, Digital Technology Assessment Criteria, that before you even go knocking on doors, you'll have to have an awareness of and be able to give the NHS confidence that you're adhering to it or working towards that. So ORCA will help you with that, and we do cover that on the programme. You'll meet Tom from Leeds Enterprise Partnership. So this is a local-based government organisation that will, again, is there to support you land in our region. So if that's looking at grants or finance and funding, it's a physical space, it's linking in with the local ecosystem, then they'll help you with that. Okay, so that's just a flavour of the organisations that you're going to meet. You know, this is the first time you've heard of them, so don't think you're going to remember them. If you come over, you'll meet those organisations, you'll get an understanding of what they do, the value they'll bring, and the contacts. So on one page, this is in theory what you do to, you know, develop your product and move into the NHS. So you move from the left to the right. This is an innovation pathway. And on one page, it looks fairly straightforward. You know, you just tick off those things and you move forward. But we know it's more complicated than that. So the program is all around simplifying this process and giving you clarity on what the important things you need to do and when you need to do them. So the programs, as I've mentioned, there's a number of masterclasses that we deliver, and they're based on these sort of 5 pillars of knowledge that you're going to need to know to enter the NHS market. So the first one is you need to understand the NHS. It is a big beast. So you need to understand from a national level what the landscape is, what the strategies are, you know, how does funding flow from top down. At a local level, what the organisations at a local level, what do they do, how do they procure, and what are their initiatives, what are they focused on, and what are they investing in? And also, how do you engage with them? How do you knock on doors? And unfortunately, there isn't one big blue NHS door. There's thousands of little blue NHS doors that you need to knock on. So we try and give you clarity on how you do that in the most effective way. We've mentioned the legal side. So, if you create a subsidiary in the UK, what do you need to do to form a company? What are the legalities about it? If you're dealing with patient data, how do you protect that and make sure it's secure? How do you secure your intellectual property rights? If you're collaborating with other innovators, how do you do that from a legal perspective? If you're a medical device, what do you need to do to show that it's a safe and secure product? So Hill Dickinson cover off the legal, finance and funding. So yeah, from a finance and funding perspective, first of all, understanding how the NHS releases funding for technology at a national level, and how does that trickle down to a local level, and how can you utilize and feed into that funding that comes through. How do you invest, make sure that you're fit for the future in terms of investment, and various investment rounds if that's something that you're wanting to do. And how do you pitch if you do want investments? What are the things you need to consider? And we also provide the mentoring support from a financial perspective with Barclays and Part Equity. Networking is a big part of the program. So we put in a lot of time for you to have the coffee conversations with the delivery partners, with our staff, and also with yourselves and your peers. You do see that collaboration between the innovators who attend the program through the networking. And growth and spread is all around, okay, how do you, from where you are now, with limited knowledge of the UK market, how do you enter that market? How do you make sure you've done your governance, your clinical safety? How do you get your first users using your products? What are the things that they will expect you to do? How do you deliver it into the NHS? And then how do you tell the story and move forward? So they are the 5 pillars of the program, and then the masterclasses fall out of that.
Tim, we have a question in the chat asking if it's a good idea to contact the organizations before the bootcamp. I guess that depends on where they are in their journey of going to the UK.
I think so. We prepare the delivery partners beforehand. So I think if you contact them, it'll be a bit like a cold call. So you probably won't get the best value from that. But what we do is, once we've selected the innovators for the program, we brief them on who you are and what you do, and what your ask is if you've got specific asks, and then they'll be more prepared for that sort of conversation. If you do have specific needs at this moment in time and you want that conversation, then we can take that offline and see if there's value in it. They may just say, if it's not urgent, then we'll speak on the boot camp. So maybe if we find out what the specific question is, or if it's a specific area, then we'll take that as a separate thing. Yeah, so the NHS has an open door policy for adopting technology. They see technology as a key instrument for benefits to patients and clinicians. So that door's definitely open, but they will only invest in technology where there's value in it. And that's where you need to make sure that you've got a clear business case and value for your offering. It is a competitive market, so there's a high chance that there will be innovators doing a similar thing to what you're doing, or in a similar space. And if there isn't, then there will be soon. So again, it's just seeing how you differentiate your offering and showcase that. So yeah, we're interested in technology which you've got traction, or you've got interest in your home territory. You've got value, and there's a story there. So that's where we're looking for technology that will bring value to the NHS. And on the left-hand side, obviously UK innovator, they've got the networks, they've got the contacts, they know the knowledge. So Propel the bootcamp is all around that blue section, bringing your knowledge up to a same level as a UK innovator. So you know what to say, you know what you need to do, you can engage effectively. You're still going to have to do the legwork. This program is not, you're not going to get, if you get business from it, that's great, but don't expect to get business from the program straight off, because it doesn't work like that. But you will get the quality contacts and you'll get a good understanding of what you need to do. Okay, so this is the program as it stands from a week perspective, and I'm going to go into each one of these sections, so you got a clear understanding of what we actually do during the week and the subjects that we cover. So yeah, we've got Monday, so you'll probably arrive the weekend, sort of climatize, and then on the Monday morning we do an introduction, and we've got a number of masterclasses on that Monday. The Tuesday, we cover off evidence and governance. The Wednesday, we cover off legal, finance and funding. Thursday is the pitching and marketplace day. And the Friday morning, we have a site visit to the innovation pop-up. So that's the sort of high-level structure of the program. Then I'm just going to dig into each day to give you a flavour of the programme. So yeah, the Monday morning, we'll arrive. It'll be based from Nexus. Each one of the delivery partners will explain what they do, and they'll introduce themselves so you know who the people are. There's plenty of breaks within the day, so you can again have those coffee conversations, and then we want to get to know you. So just a 5-minute overview of what your product is, what you're doing, and what your ambitions are. Then we have a networking lunch. In the afternoon, we start the masterclasses. So we have a masterclass covering off the NHS landscape. Our route into these 3 integrated care systems is through what's called innovation hubs, so you'll meet them. We'll do a session on the innovation pathway, which is the things you need to do and the order that you need to do them in. We do a session on growth and spread. We get an international supplier come to talk about their journey, and you get a walk around the Nexus building so you can get a feel for what that building is and what they do. So that's the Monday. The Tuesday morning, we have a session covering the innovation toolkit. So this toolkit is all the elements of what you need to do to deliver your technology into the NHS. And you've probably got an equivalent where you are already. So these are the nuts and bolts of how do you deliver your technology to the customer, to the end user? What training is required? How do you configure your product? How is it administered? How do people actually get a hold of it? So we do a session, and we've got a toolkit which we use, which we've used to deploy technology into the NHS before. So some of that you may already have, some of it you may not have, and you'll be able to take that knowledge from that. We have a session covering evidence and evaluation and what the NHS will expect from an evidence and evaluation perspective, and how you go about producing the evidence to support your business case to sell into the NHS. And again, we'll have a case study with a supplier who's gone through that process. On the Tuesday afternoon, we cover off governance. So we cover off the clinical safety requirements, the compliance, medical device adhesion, clinical safety, all the things that you're going to need to know from the get-go, and then you'll have a plan of how you achieve them. And this is not really scary stuff. It's, again, stuff which you're probably doing in your home territory. So this is making sure, your product's safe, it's been pen tested, it's secure, it's not going to get hacked. It's all the governance around that. And then the clinical safety is just making sure the product is safe, it's not going to harm anyone, and when you update it or change it, that's reflected in that. So that's the governance side. So that'll finish off the second day. The third day, we will cover off in the morning the legal aspect. So I've mentioned a couple of these things before. So intellectual property rights, employing people, data protection, governance, confidentiality, all the things you need to consider from a legal perspective. The Wednesday afternoon, we cover off funding in the NHS. So again, how funding flows in the NHS. How does the NHS procure? What are the procurement frameworks that you could maybe get onto to sell your product? How do you sell directly to the NHS? Power Equity will come and talk about investments and how to engage with the investment community, and Barclays will talk about day-to-day banking options. Okay, that'll take us to Thursday, and you'll be tired by Thursday, but Thursday is the pitching morning. So this is in a building called the Royal Armouries, which is one of the well, it's the main UK museum for all the arms. So basically, what they did was they gathered all the weaponry which the UK has been using over the hundreds of years, and we put them into a museum to showcase it, because that's the type of thing we like to do. But it's a really impressive building. It's a conference centre as well. And it splits the week up. So this is where we'll give you 10 minutes to pitch, just explain what you're doing, what your ambitions are, why your product is worth investing, and we'll bring a cohort of NHS stakeholders, organisation-based stakeholders, to give you some feedback, some honest feedback. So that's in the morning, and in the afternoon there is time for those one-to-one conversations. So by then you'll get a good understanding of these organisations, the people you may need to speak to, and you'll have one-to-one time to do that. In the evening we have a networking meal in the same building, and again that's just some downtime just to socialise and get to know you on a more personal level. Okay, so this is a little video we did from the last boot camp. Hopefully you'll hear the sound. If you don't hear the sound, don't worry, you'll get a feel for what the program is, and you'll get the recording in the session anyway. Okay, so hopefully that give you a bit of a insight into the actual program, you know, as much as you can talk about slides. Hopefully that brought that to life. So yeah, the Friday morning, we will regroup. We'll have a visit to the local hospital and the innovation pop-up, and they'll talk about how you can access their services and engage with the clinical community. We'll wrap the program up. We'll get some feedback and there's photo opportunity. So it normally and then we'll feed you at lunchtime. So it normally gets wrapped up around lunchtime. So that's the program as it stands. Quite a lot of detail. As I say, we'll share the slides. In terms of logistics, so flights into Leeds, so you can either fly into Manchester, which is just an hour's train journey into Leeds. You can fly into London, it's 2 hours. You may be able to get a flight directly to actual Leeds as well. In terms of accommodation, so we don't cover off the accommodation side, but we will signpost you to accommodation within the city. It's got a whole raft of options and they're all within walking distance of where you'll be for the week. In terms of the venues, so Nexus is just a 15-minute walk from the Leeds city centre. It's quite a nice walk, so you walk through the city centre. Royal Armouries is just a 25-minute walk, or there's a canal that goes through the city centre. There is a canal boat you can get. And then Leeds Teaching Hospital Trust is just, as I say, 5-10 minutes away from Nexus, so 15 minutes away from the city centre. So obviously we have Uber and a whole raft of other facilities of how you can get around, but generally speaking, you should be able to just walk between the venues. And we have a Google list of accommodation, venues, restaurants, etc. for you as well. Okay, so after the bootcamp, as I've mentioned, we'll follow up. We'll have a follow-up call. We'll provide support afterwards, depending on what your journey is and what your next steps are. Okay, so this is the plan as it stands. So now we are just going to open up applications for this. So the key thing is, you know, we want you to be right for the program. We don't want you to sit there and then go at the end of it going, oh, well, that wasn't really very useful. So we do review the applicants. I didn't think last year we didn't, you know, we'll review and make sure that you're right for the program. So we want it to have a positive impact from you guys as well. So, and we've got a form, just a simple form, just to get some information about who you are, what you do. So that's what the applications are open at the moment. By the end of November, we'll confirm the applicants. You guys will sort out your travel, your accommodation. We'll do a follow-on briefing session and bring a couple of the delivery partners on the call. We'll weed out any specific asks that you have. So, you know, if you've got a specific ask around investment, governance, etc., then we'll gather that as well, and we'll give you the finer detail of the program and where you need to be and when. The program's actually been delivered the week of the 29th of January. So we'll obviously deliver it then, and then post event, we'll provide that follow-on call. Good to do a case study, and we always stay in touch with the innovators that attend the program. Okay, so Nana, do you want to pick this up or do you want me to pick it up?
No, you can do it.
Yeah, so our organisation is a not-for-profit organisation. Any money that we generate gets reinvested into the programme. We do ask for a fee per organisation or company, which is £2,500. As part of that, the Nordic consortia will also match that funding so that we can deliver the programme. So from your side, we will need £2,500 before attending to secure your place on the programme. There will be some funding coming from Nordic consortia, but that'll be the cost for you guys for the programme for us to deliver it.
And I can just maybe add, if anyone is concerned regarding this support coming in from the Nordic side, just let us know and we can have a chat about it. It's really a formality, but you need to be aware of the fact that you receive something called de minimis support and how that may affect your accounting and such. So just let us know if this is a concern to you.
That's great, thanks. Okay, so this was the cohort that came over early this year. So we had 8 innovators that came and attended. This is just a quick update on what they're doing, progressing on 4 of these. So Thule, they've engaged with the local hospital. They're investigating opening a subsidiary in the UK. They're working with Barclays and looking at a financial framework for entering the UK market, and they're working with Business Sweden to support their access. So they're comfortable with moving into the UK and they're starting to make plans on that journey. Leversa, so they're planning on entering the UK market. They've received a grant for further market research, so deciding on where they're going to land, and they were happy with the connections and the contacts through the program. Nordic MedTech, so they're looking at starting a subsidiary in the UK, and they're currently engaging with the local NHS system and clinicians for feedback on their solution. Smart Crowding, so they've setting up a subsidiary. They're working with Nexus on their next steps. They're speaking with the local NHS trust on opportunities, and they're actually there's a festival called the Leeds Digital Festival, which starts later on in September. They're actually presenting at that to talk about their journey from an international company coming into Leeds. So they're doing some really good engagement with the system. So that's just a snapshot of the progression. There is organizations that after the program say, great program, great knowledge, great connections. But for us, we're going to focus on our home territory and we'll park that for a while. And that's fine as well. And actually, that's quite a good thing to do because it means, you've found out fairly fast and effectively, what your plans are and if the UK market's right for you at this moment in time. And it's fine if it's not right for you at this moment in time as well, because we'll always be there. So, if you delay that for a year, you'll still be able to reach out to us. Because the alternative is that you try and figure all this stuff out yourself and you spend a lot of time and cash to do that. So don't worry that, even if you don't land in the region, even that's fine because, you're more well informed of what you need to do to enter a complex market. Okay, responsibilities. So you have to fund your travel, fund your accommodation, any evening activities outside the program. We'll still take you to the oldest pub in the UK and have a social drink, that type of thing. But if you have any activities outside the program, then that would be self-funded. We want the pitching slides for the Thursday before the event, and we'll give you guidance and a template on that. And we'll need your company logo. So we'll do some external comms and get some visibility on your organization and the program. So we just need your company logo for that. Our responsibility, so we'll provide the venue, we'll provide the daily refreshments, we'll feed you, we'll provide the venue for the pitching day, we'll provide the networking meal, and we'll organise the whole programme. Okay, so the link in here is the application form. It's just a simple form. I'll put it in the chat as well, so you've got it. What I'd recommend is if you're interested in attending the programme, fill out the form. Don't worry that you weren't here for us for a few weeks. We'll just have a look at reviewing that, and then we'll get back to you and hopefully, get you onto the program and deliver it and help you with your journey. So that's all the information I've got. I think there is a question on.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat.
So.
Do you want to read it first yourself, or?
Yeah, so as a company that prioritizes a partner-first approach. We're keen on initiatives that enhance our existing strategies.
Did we lose Tim now?
Yeah, I was going to say he looks a bit frozen. Let's give it a second and see if he returns. Yeah, so if he's struggling technically on his side and won't be able to return, I just want to make you all aware. Yeah, so I think we lost him. There's always an opportunity to contact us after. Are you here, Tim?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay.
The ghost of Microsoft Teams just appeared. So yeah, I suppose it depends what the partner-first approach is. So if that's other innovators, and collaborating with other innovators, then we engage with a whole raft of different organizations, innovators, so we can do that matchmaking. If it's a commercial organization, then again we'll do those introductions depending on what it is. So we can be seen as a broker depending on what the ask is. Our day-to-day work is supporting innovators. So, we speak to over 300-400 innovators per year. So, and then within our organization, we have specialists in different areas. So depending on what your product is, we have specialists in sort of cancer care, the whole long-term conditions, etc. So once you get an understanding of who you want to collaborate with, then we'll support you with that. To what degree does the program relate to technologies that are pre-MDR approval, or would everything also apply to medical devices that are proven? So we'll go through. So it depends what your technology is really, and we'll accommodate for all, and the program covers all scenarios really. So the UK has a plan for medical device adoption because we were working with the EU medical device adoption. There's a plan to move and have an equivalent. So if you are a medical device, we provide all the content on what you'd need to do and how the transition works. If you're not a medical device, then it's fairly a scaled down process, and we just run through that. So yeah, it'll be pre-MDR approval. You don't have to be approved. We'll just highlight what you will need to do to release your products into the NHS from a medical device adoption perspective. And if you're in a specific position with your medical device adoption, that's where the guidance mainly from Hill Dickinson will help, because they have a representative who is a specialist in that area, so they'll give you clarity on your specific scenario. So yeah, it's not a criteria that you need to be approved or what have you. Okay. Is there any other questions? Right, I'll take that it's been very informative and it's given you the information that you need. If you do have any follow-on questions or any concerns, then feel free to reach out to myself and we'll deal with those queries. As I say, last year, I think with all the applicants, I think it was all of them that came over. So don't think that would be a barrier. I think our capacity, depending on numbers, so we took 8 through last year. We can increase that. We do say ideally just one person per organisation. If it pivots on you bringing another person, then again, just reach out to us and we can see what we can do. So we can flex, but we just need to be conscious of numbers because, we want it to be bring value to many organizations. Okay, is there anything from your side, Teresa, Nana?
No, I think it's all good. So just you'll receive an email from me, I guess, tomorrow or on Monday with a link, just a copy of the recording and also our our contact information. So yeah, just feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I hope we can see some of you in Leeds in January. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Really looking forward to it, and yeah, looking forward to working with you. So as I say, any follow-on questions, reach out to us. We'll bring it to a close there. We'll share the recording and we'll share the link. So thanks everyone for your time.
Bye.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks a lot. See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.